Hello lovely listeners, here we are back again at Clapham Park Estate, what's left of it. We've got some banners here. One says, "Hey Metropolitan Thames Valley Housing, how many trees did you kill today?" This one says 347 mature trees to be cut down, question mark. And this is where you can find a bit more information. Twitter, also Facebook, Instagram, why demolish. You can also go to change.org, Clapham Park Trees, to find out more about what's going on here. But this is really a message to London councillors, especially in Lambeth. Yes, the tree huggers are here, and you often hear this message from people in power that have been in power for a long time, that see themselves as above anything else and above anyone else. And they often use the argument that, well, if you care about the environment, you don't care about social justice. And you hear this a lot. And they present people who care about mature trees and refurbishment as out of touch, naive, and that they see themselves in a very smug way as being the saviours of people. You even hear people in Lambeth talking about how Clapham Park Estate used to be full of crack dens and it was beyond help. Now, I think that's really disrespectful to the people that used to live there. I know people that lived there. They were just people living in London, going to work, trying to have an ordinary life. If there's problems on an estate, then they need to be sorted out. That's not an excuse for knocking it down. And I guarantee the people that make those comments don't live on council estates. I guarantee they are perfectly comfortable and live in a nice house that they own. And I also guarantee that once they've spent their time telling everyone else in the borough how to live, they'll go off for a career in real estate or in Parliament or in consultancy. So please don't listen to councillors telling you that if you give a damn about the environment, you are just a tree hugger and you don't know what you're talking about. In fact, if you want to talk about social justice at Lambeth, anyone with any sense will tell you that social justice and environmental justice go hand in hand. So councillors, get on board. You're the ones that are behind the times. Knocking people out of, knocking people's houses down and pushing them out of their housing is not the answer. If you look at the misery and stress it causes people on Clapham Park Estate are not all jumping for joy at waiting so long to be rehoused or jumping for joy at their new bills. If you want to talk to people on Clapham Park Estate, go and find out how happy they really are, because I guarantee they're not all going to be kissing the ground that you walk on, especially not when you look at the cost of doing it like this. And handing the responsibility over to a housing association is all well and good, as long as you don't wash your hands of it and just let the housing association get away with ecocide, which is pretty much what's going on here. So people in Lambeth, people in Southwark, people all over the country, for those of you who don't know what's going on, who are not involved, get involved, because your councils are doing deals with property developers and housing associations that are not in your best interest. They're in the interests of housing associations and property developers, and those are not the same interests as people who need to be rehoused, people on the waiting list, people who are homeless, people who are in fuel poverty, people who are poor. So don't listen to overpaid, smug, overprivileged councillors telling you that you don't know what you're talking about. If you're opposed to demolition, if you're opposed to cutting down 347 mature trees, then you're probably more up to date than they are.